Oh, hi everyone. Paddy here from Senior Pickleball Tips. I have with me today my good buddy, Coach Phil Mann. And he's a coach here in the UK, a pickleball coach. And I have the honour of being his doubles partner. But I mean, I say that, but we've not actually played competitive doubles yet together. So we're going to be chatting today about that and partner communications, and we'll see where that goes. Hey Phil, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm great. How you
Good,
doing,
good,
Paddy?
good. It's a bit weird because normally we see each other on the pickleball court, but we're facing each other across a Zoom call. But hey ho. So
Yeah.
Phil, we're going to be talking about partner communication. We know in pickleball, communications is pretty much the key to everything. I mean, a good doubles team, it's all about communications. I would say, especially for senior pickleball players. And it's not just about necessarily yours, mine, but that's really important. That's probably half of communication, is just yours and mine. Um, but obviously, good communications before the game. We'll talk about that during the game and after the game. So, Phil, we have a match together in 2 weeks' time, don't we? When's that? 2 weeks' time?
28th of June.
That's it.
Yeah.
2 weeks' time. We're in the 50 plus. Phil's 57. I'm 66. Poor him. Um, and we were going to discuss, what's our partner communications going to be. I don't think our opponents be listening to this. I really don't. But we were going to have this conversation, but I thought it'd be a good idea to have it in a podcast and see where we go. So what should we be doing on court, Phil? We should talk about before we get on court, what should we be agreeing?
Very often you'll see or you'll actually see your opponents discussing tactics. And very often during the warm-up, they've worked out which player that they're going to target. Because pickleball is one of those sports where it's very easy to just target the one player, and that's where they're going to that's the underlying and fundamental tactic of what they're going to do. And so I guess we're also going to discuss and work out which is the weaker player and which one that we're going to target the most.
That seems to make sense to me. So the chances are it will be me that they're targeting, I should think.
It may be. It's not always the case. Uh, in one, I think Southeast Doubles League, which you played as well, a couple of weeks ago, there was a lady who ended up in our on our court, and she had a disastrous first few games. Um, but it turned out that she was one of the stronger players because her soft game was absolutely incredible,
Right.
was absolutely amazing. And to begin with, I thought I'm going to target, she is the weaker player. I'm going to target her. But as we went through the games, it turned out that her soft game was so strong. Every time you dinked it to her, it would come back, and she was fast. She had very, very fast hands. So at the kitchen line, she was super strong, but she had no game. Her game from the baseline and approaching and transition were not as strong. But once she got to kitchen line, I wouldn't be. I would dink to the other player.
Interesting. So I suppose then one of the first things to do before getting on court is to sort of discuss each other's strengths and weaknesses. So
Mm.
so so if she had said to you before you came on court, look, I'm pretty good at dinking, but the rest of my game ain't so great, then I guess you'd both be putting in a lot of third shot drops and doing it from there.
Yes. She wasn't going to. It's one of those situations where a lot of players won't admit to weaknesses.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where if you've got a trusted partner, you can discuss this and admit to what your weaknesses in your game are.
Yeah, well, I got to say for the record, Phil, my weaknesses are my forehand, my backhand, my lob, my dink, my third shot. No, I'm only joking. But I suppose one of my weaknesses is the reset shot. I got to tell you. So, you know, from the back of the court, from the transition zone, I find it hard to reset it properly without sort of popping up really high.
I personally think the reset shot is well, we're sort of digressing a bit, but most people seem to think that they need to play a perfect reset.
Yeah,
And really, the reality is you don't. What you have to do is you have to know when you've not played a perfect reset and get ready to defend. Because you see too
yeah,
many times people will hit the imperfect reset or the imperfect drop and they'll just keep moving in
yeah.
and then they'll get the ball smashed at them.
But in terms of communication,
Yeah.
you're my partner. I'm communicating to you. Look, my reset shot ain't great. It's okay, but
Mm.
it's not great. Is there anything that we can tactically do about that?
What I do on the on the on the on your shots, like the reset, what I tend to do is I'll tend to stand a couple of feet in front of you when you take the shot, and I'll watch the shot. And if it looks good, I'm that much closer to the net,
Right.
so I can get to that kitchen line and maybe cut off any return. Or if it's bad, I'm not that far from you. I can then go back.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
retreat, and then I can get ready to defend. So
Okay.
it's not the end of the world. And that kind of thing basically is it's like a partnership, isn't it? We were both moving together and going back together. So it's that
Yeah.
understanding.
So is that very much, yeah, someone said you tie a piece of string between the two players and you move forward together and left and right together, generally speaking.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Figuratively
But
speaking, yeah. Yes.
yeah, yeah, okay. Now, middle balls. What are we going to do about middle balls?
Interesting situation actually, because when I was in recreational play just last week, and we were playing uh, two fairly good guys, um, but you could tell they had communication problems because when we hit balls straight down the middle, they'd leave them, and they look at each other and saying that was yours, that was mine, and
Yeah,
then one of the guys said, "Look, we're going to play what they call," he said, the X,
yeah,
which is making it is forehand dominance, isn't it? And even then, when he discussed this tactic of playing the X, we sent another ball straight down the middle. Again, they looked confused, and again they just didn't go for the ball, and it just went straight through.
I
And
guess, I guess neither of them called it. Neither of them said yours or mine. And
no,
I think that's probably communication in pickleball 101, as the
yeah,
Americans say, is when the ball's going down the middle, you got to basically call yours or mine quick.
yes, uh, yeah. I'm wondering who. Well, it should be the person whoever's got the best position on the ball. I think if they've got the best position, they've got the dominant position, and they're set and they're ready to take it. They take it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
especially on the forehand, I guess.
especially on the forehand. Yes,
Yeah.
I think this whole business with the X thing,
Explain, Phil, just explain what that means, the X.
X. Oh, it's a diagonal line, isn't it? Which
Yeah,
is drawn from one side of the court, one half from one corner of the net to the other side, to the other diagonal side, and whoever has the forehand takes
yeah,
the biggest area.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I read, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I read it, whoever the ball is heading towards. But of course, middle balls aren't heading towards anyone.
And if you're if you are the player in front, are you going to actually, as it passes across you diagonally, are you actually going to let it go
Yeah,
and say,
yeah,
well, it wasn't, we're playing the X, so really you need to hit
Yeah.
it. Or
Uh,
are you gonna duck and say it's yours?
we're not going to do this, are we? Sounds far too
No.
confusing for me. For
No,
my
I think whoever's in front takes it.
Yeah,
If they've got the best position on the ball, they take it.
yeah, I agree entirely. Okay. Um, Now stacking. I was
Oh
actually,
gosh.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
never done the stacking. I've seen it done, and I'm sure I could do it quite easily. Um, what's your thoughts on that? Because my thought is this. I mean, my backhand's okay. I got a pretty strong backhand, but you're pretty good at poaching. And I mean that in a nice way.
Mm.
You're good at coming across on when you're on the left side, coming across and taking that ball early and putting it away. And is stacking something that you and I should consider? What do you think?
The tip I read is if you've never done it, don't do it in a tournament.
Uh, okay,
it,
let's try it in the
it could
rec
be a
play
recipe
first.
for disaster, couldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well let's rule out stacking. But stacking,
Yeah.
I suppose, is a potential, but it is all part of this chatting to your opponent, especially, if they're a fairly regular opponent, especially if they're a fairly regular opponent, um, not necessarily someone you've just met in rec play, because you don't want to drive them nuts, is this talking before the match. We talked about strengths and weaknesses, the middle ball. So stacking is an option, isn't it, that people, regular partners, ought to consider.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I think it's going to take a bit of practice. And especially if, for me, I've never done any stacking really before. And the time I did try it, it confused me a bit.
Uh,
And that's where I think it's going to take a bit of practice, play a few recreational matches, just to get used to the idea of always being on the same side and stacking.
okay, let's do that then. We'll do it in the rec play.
Okay.
Um, and the other thing, I read somewhere that fairly high level doubles partners who have been playing a lot together, they even have like code words, you know,
Yeah.
things like I don't know, they might shout out the word fire, which means, go for it, hit it. Um, or ice, which is leave it, it's going out, or stuff like that. I mean, you and I haven't practiced this, so this would be irresponsible of us to do. But I suppose if one is a long time partner in our pickleball court, one could do things like that. Have you heard about that before? Have you witnessed that?
I've not I've not seen it. I watched a fair amount of the PPA stuff on YouTube. I've not heard them say anything like that.
Okay,
So,
okay, interesting, interesting. So that's what we talk about before the match, right?
mm,
And I think you and I have got a fair idea after this little chat. Now, when we're actually playing, I mean, what you've heard me say to you and anyone I play with, I always say, I like to talk a lot and I like people to talk to me a lot. So, let's call a lot. That's just my personal preference. Is that a good idea to sort of say that?
yeah, I think constant talking, uh, just giving each other positive vibes
Yeah.
and just trying to gee ourselves up.
Yeah. So sort of talk early, talk often,
Yep,
you
yep,
know.
and not to get down.
Yeah, yeah. Always positive. Never, never tut. Never look up to heaven or anything like that.
Yep,
Um,
positive body language as well.
yeah. There's Phil and I are also members of a tennis club, and there's a particular chap there, a Frenchman who will
Oh
remain
yes,
unnamed,
yeah.
who you hit a bad shot and he'll sigh, or he won't actually say anything, but oh, it's so off-putting, isn't it? It just totally puts you off your game.
One of the things that I do, which I've my habits on the tennis court, which I've completely cut out, because as soon as I do it, I realize I'm doing it, and I think, right, no, and that's when is to put your hands on your hips. It's quite when I put my hands on my hips and just sort of walk around looking, it's like, yeah, what the heck? And it's just negative body language. So as soon as I do that, and on a pickleball court, if I do it straight away, I cut that out because it's just telling people how you're feeling.
That's interesting. Yeah, bit nonchalant.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's just
suppose.
negative, isn't it?
Yeah. I suppose, if you can pick up on body language, which we all can, even though we don't
Mm.
think we can, because body language is extremely important, is incredibly important. But yes, so talking during play is so important. Never being negative. And I guess communications equals confidence.
Yeah. And play it point at a time.
Yeah.
Point at a time. There was yeah, in that Southeast Doubles League, we were down some ridiculous amount. It was like the other team had like it's played to 11, not rally scoring points, and we were some like 11-4, no, not 11-4, sorry, 10. We were 10-7, and they had two serves. I was with that young lady who couldn't. She had a bad backcourt that game, but she had a fantastic game at the kitchen line, and we just ground it out. We ground it out, and we got back to 10-all, and then it stuck there at 10-all. Kept dropping the serve, went back to them, and it's sudden death at 10-all at Southeast Doubles League, and eventually we managed to grind out the 11-10 win against two good players as well.
It's so satisfying when that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, but I was saying to myself, 1 point at a time, 1 point at a
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and I think that's the mentality that
Yeah.
we need to take into our match as well in Basingstoke.
Yeah, in Basingstoke. I suppose one thing as well, following on from tennis, especially singles, but I think this is very important in doubles, and even more so, is the concept of flow. So because I find this in pickleball, that it's quite easy to, not easy, it's quite often to win 3, 4, even 5 points in a row,
Mhm.
and to lose 3, 4, even 5, even 6 points in a row. And at that point, when you're the winning team doing that, you've just got to get in the flow, don't think about things, and just carry on as you are, which can be quite difficult. Don't be distracted, just unthink everything and just keep going. But if you're the team that's being beaten, it's very hard to come out of that. I mean, as a doubles team, that's where communications, I suppose, is absolutely key.
That's an interesting point, actually, because this tournament that we're playing, we will have the benefit of a timeout, won't we?
You do get a 1 minute timeout if you want it, I think.
Is it? Oh, okay. One or
I,
two.
I think it's one.
Okay, but that's when to do it. If
Yeah,
we're
that's
if
when to do
we're
it. Yeah,
if our opponents are steamrolling us,
yeah,
or they're on a run,
yeah. That's to
we
do
just
it.
we just want to do the timeout, which is basically a mini toilet break, isn't it?
Yeah, I think people
Honestly,
forget about the timeout.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely consider that. That's a really good point. And of course, in the timeout, you can have a good chat and sort of maybe reset tactics or what have you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you and I are absolutely sorted for 2 weeks' time, and we're just going to win that competition without a shadow of a doubt, Phil. What do you reckon?
I'm not putting anything on it in terms of expectation. I'm there just for the experience.
Of course, I'm only joking. We're just
Yeah.
we're just there to have a bit of fun and see what happens. I think that's the mindset. Nothing's at stake. Now, just to sort of take this a bit further, we talked about you and me and our
Mm.
communications. But let's say you're in a round robin tournament, as we have been in the past, and our first one together is in a couple of weeks' time. But if you get into a round robin tournament where you're swapping partners and you're changing partners like we do in the Southeast Doubles League, and you have a what you would deem a weak partner, how do you communicate with them? How do you say things to them? What do you say things to them? You've come across this before.
Uh, sometimes I think it's sometimes I think it's down to chemistry. Purely like I've played the Southeast Doubles League now for well, maybe 6 times, and every time pretty much I'm with that you see the same faces, some of them, and
Yeah.
it's those people you get to sort of you get to know their game, you get to know how they play, you get to know um, what they can do and what to expect, and also you make friends, which is the other important thing is that
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're not playing, you're chatting and it's just friendly. So one of the guys there I've played now probably 5, 6 times with him, and together I think we play really well together. So I know exactly what he's going to do. It's almost like being psychic, I suppose. He knows what I'm going to do. He knows how I play. I know how he plays, and we sort of we can grind it out with against our opponents, and we very rarely lose actually in that on that
Are
court.
you are you are you subtly trying to dump me as a doubles partner here, Phil?
No, he's got his own doubles partners, and he might be at Basingstoke. Never know.
Okay, yeah, yeah. But let's just move on a bit. We've been talking about tournaments, we've been talking about competitive play.
Mm,
As we know in the States, a lot of people rec play, they're turning up, they don't really know the people they're playing, they don't really know the people they're playing with. And communications there is still key, isn't it? I mean, what I would do, as I always do, whenever I play doubles, I say to whoever my doubles partner is, I like to talk a lot and I think we should call a lot. That's how I say it in a friendly, smiley way. Um, is that advisable? Would that cheese people off, do you think?
no, I think 100%. The key there is the word you used was friendly.
Yeah.
Um, because very often if you're put into these situations where you're playing with people, sometimes you vaguely know them, sometimes you may not know them at all. And if you take it too seriously, it will basically hinder you as a partnership. I mean, you may not have the chemistry as partners, but you can work on it. It's a bit like a marriage, I suppose. A temporary marriage for what, 15 minutes maybe?
Yes.
But you've got to work at it because you haven't got you haven't quite got the chemistry there yet because you don't know your partner well enough. And I think you have to um, obviously settle them, and you have to be, like you say, friendly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think what Paddy's two rules on this are probably, as I've said, just be really friendly, just introduce yourself, get their name, remember their name, always pretty helpful. Um, and I always, as I say I like to talk. I'm a bit chatty, and let's play. And the other big rule, which we've touched on before, is always positive,
Mm,
always positive. And if they hit a fairly simple one in the net, it's no worries, no worries. Let's just push on. Maybe don't ignore it, because I think almost if you ignore a really bad shot, it's almost you can kind of hear the deafening kind of negativity, or some people could. So if my partner, whom I don't know very well, hits a bad shot, I'll just say, "No worries. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll move on." Again, hopefully that goes down quite well. I don't really know.
it's what going back to that quote. I think Pete Sampras quoted it, didn't he? He said, "To be a great tennis player, you need to have a very short memory,"
Yeah,
and it's basically to forget your mistake and then go forwards and reset yourself
yeah,
mentally.
yeah. And reset your partner. Remember, if you're in doubles, you've got a partner to think about. So
Mm.
you've got to put them at their ease and keep them at their ease. And even if you lose 11-0 or 11-1, it doesn't matter. You're on court, you've had fun, and that's the whole point of it, I guess.
Especially if it's recreational play.
Yeah, I'm talking about rec play at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because sometimes you'll get players who go to rec play and they'll actually play it like a competition.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good thing personally.
I'm going to be devil's advocate a bit in that, you go to rec play, but you sort of treat it like practice and training.
Oh, sure.
And sometimes you want to develop a more aggressive game, maybe, and it might come across, obviously, might come across negatively by with your partner, but what you're trying to achieve in your recreational play, I suppose, is to still improve.
Yeah,
But
but I guess then, we're talking about partner communications. If you're doing that in
mm,
rec play, you could always be open about that with your partner. You can say, "Look, I'm
yes,
working on my third shot, so I may put a few out. It's not a great third shot. In fact, I think I did this the other day in rec play. I said to someone, might have been you, look, my third shot ain't so great, so I'm just going to really work on that third shot drop. And I made a lot of mistakes, then it started going in. So I suppose, yeah, just be straight with people. I guess the communication is key.
so when are you going to start working on your body shots then? Because that's going to be an interesting conversation
It will. It
with your
will.
court buddies.
It will. But again, body shots, I think, again, it depends on so many things, doesn't it? It depends on your rating. It depends, obviously, if it's competitive, then it's open season, as far as I'm concerned. If it's rec and you're playing with a bunch of buddies and you want to practice that, then that I think that's fine. But in sort of very general low key rec play, I think you've got to be a bit careful. And if you do hit a body shot, you don't have to slam it, you know.
Yeah. Luckily, it's not the same in tennis. If you did that and you targeted your opponent all the time with a tennis ball at full pace,
Yeah,
legal, but questionable.
yeah, yeah. It's not
Whereas
good.
in a pickleball, doesn't actually travel as fast and it's a very
Yeah,
light ball.
yeah. So excellent, Phil. We've talked about partner communications. We talked about competitive partner communications. You and I now have a fantastic communication strategy for 2 weeks' time. Maybe we'll be fine. And we've talked about in recreational play as well. If you sort of meet someone and you've never met them before, how to be friendly, to be positive, and not to worry about things too much. We've talked about, if you have a weak partner, how never to be negative, always be positive. Just you got to think about them. If they hit a bad shot, it's no worries, don't worry, we can move on. So, yeah, I think partner communication is key, and it will be interesting to see how you and I do on our communications, won't it, in 2 weeks' time?
I'll be smiling at the end of it, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about. Well, look, Phil, Coach Phil, thanks so much for joining me today and talking about our communications, but also build, but also widening it out to rec play, etc., which is great. And thanks for joining me today. And listen, you take care. Let's have you on the podcast again soon.
Cheers.
All
Thank you
right,
very
buddy.
much.
All right, you take care. Bye for now.
Are we saying bye?